and the visual is stunning. I hope they document what I'm becoming. Congratulations.
People's Kid, how we doing? It's your boy Kobe back at it again with another video, and as always, hope you guys are having a blessed day. Man, this topic is probably going to be one of the toughest videos I've ever made, as the Los Angeles Lakers are miraculously going to miss the playoffs with a healthy LeBron. I can't help but be disappointed on what will go down as a wasted year for the King. Unfortunately, beyond just the losing, it is clear LeBron lost a lot of respect from NBA fans for the way he has conducted himself on and off the court. In a reluctant manner, I feel I must address exactly why his legacy is in such serious jeopardy. Real quick before we get started, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more NBA content just like this. And with that said, let's hop right into the video.
NBA superstar LeBron James, make that LA Bron, is taking his talents out west. The Los Angeles Times calls him LA's new king this morning after the four-time MVP agreed to a 4-year, $154 million contract with the Lakers.
In a move that garnered the eyes of the entire basketball world, on July 2, 2018, LeBron James announced via his agency Clutch Media Group that he would be leaving the Cleveland Cavaliers for a second time and head to LA to start a new journey. At the time of the announcement, opinion of the move from NBA fans across the league ranged from shocked to intrigued to not being surprised one iota. For Laker fans in particular, it represented an opportunity for a fresh face to come in and take part in the franchise's historic tradition. Coming into the season, while the Lakers were not projected to reach the finals thanks to the two-time defending champions Golden State Warriors looking to three-peat, the expectation for most people was that LeBron would get his pulse on the team and find a working formula to get the Lakers to the playoffs. In context of the GOAT debate, despite having been swept by the Golden State Warriors in the previous 2018 finals, the nightly performances LeBron had put up that included multiple playoff buzzer beaters opened the eyes of many longtime MJ supporters and helped lessen the blow of a finals loss everyone and their grandma knew was coming to the Cavs. As a result, the LeBron-MJ GOAT debate was as strong as it has ever been during the offseason, and there was buzz in the air that James would win his 5th league MVP by the start of training camp. Not slowing down the momentum at all, at the onset of the NBA season, Nike released what I believe to be one of the greatest commercials I've ever seen that shows a young, idealistic LeBron. For copyright reasons, I will only play a snippet here, but will leave the full link in the description.
How much pressure do you have to perform from day one?
There's no pressure. There's no pressure at all. I've been getting pressure since I was 10 years old.
In this beautiful 60-second clip, you hear the profound wisdom of an 18-year-old kid that is ready to make his lifelong dream a reality. For anyone that watched, and I'm sure most of you have, this just put chills down your spine because of what we know he would go on to do with this opportunity. Simply put, everything embodied in this video screams the quality of greatest of all time. Striking humility, grand accomplishment, born leadership. In my opinion, there is not a more fitting video for the King to enter the season to. Yet with great praise comes great responsibility, and by moving to the Lakers, there were two critical cliche arguments used by LeBron Jordan debaters that were immediately going to be put to the test. Number one, LeBron moving to the Western Conference was a move that would let us revisit the East is weak debate. For many years, James' accomplishments in reaching the NBA Finals were downplayed by many because of what many people believe to be a less competitive road than that of the West. If the Lakers continue to perform in the Western Conference, well then there would be very little to say. Number two, and what I think was one of the strongest arguments held by LeBron GOAT supporters, was this idea of LeBron being able to make any team a contender like no player ever could. Think LeBron leaving Cleveland the first time, and think him leaving Miami for Cleveland. In both scenarios, one team got dramatically better once he arrived, and one team got dramatically worse once he left. On the flip side, when Jordan retired from Chicago the first time, the Bulls were still one of the best teams in the league, and Scottie Pippen truly became an MVP candidate for the first time in his career. As a result, LeBron getting the Lakers to 50 wins this year would have been the finishing touches on one of the best counter-arguments against MJ. Yet, in a devastating turn of events for LeBron's stake as the greatest player of all time, neither of these 2 points played out in his favor this year. Partly due to injury, but also definitely due to on-court performance. With James missing the playoffs, it provides a haunting rebuttal to any claim his fans make that he can carry any team in the NBA, because clearly, this statement has proven to be false. Now, I wish I could say the damage ends there, but sadly we are truly only hitting the surface on why LeBron James really killed his legacy this year. As you guys know, I love to break down my thoughts on this matter into major key points. Here are the 4 biggest reasons as to why LeBron pretty much destroyed his reputation. Number 4. LeBron is uncharacteristically calling out teammates like he has never done before. Although not talked about often, one of the strongest personality traits that differ between a Kobe Bryant and or Michael Jordan versus LeBron is the natural camaraderie LeBron openly embraced with his teammates early in his career. This is probably most evident during his time in Miami, where James truly acted like he was just one of the guys with other Hall of Fame caliber players such as D. Wade, along with a strong veteran presence in the locker room to help handle leading the team forward. As LeBron has gotten older and wiser, however, he has become more and more siloed in his role as a leader, and these moments of brotherhood we used to see in Miami and early Cleveland have dropped significantly in exchange for a more professional working relationship. While this change is neither good or bad on its own merit when it comes to winning, I really respect the way this new LeBron would handle the media when it came to answering questions that were deliberately meant to throw his teammate under the bus.
Tonight again, he had no assists. Does he get a pass though for tonight because of the circumstances, or?
Don't none of us get a pass tonight. It ain't about Kyrie. Put it on me.
I'm a little off about it because this is my guy, this is my teammate, and this is the guy that goes out and works his tail off every single night, and people are trying to give him a bad rap. That's why we're going to another finals, because my teammates played the hell of the game. Yeah.
In all these clips, James masterfully takes the high road and remains humble in his defeat, while also taking his share of the blame for the loss. For some reason, however, LeBron has strangely veered away from this type of interaction in 2019, and has instead replaced this old attitude with a don't blame it on me type of sentiment. In early February, when the Lakers were throwing everything but the kitchen sink at the Pelicans in order to try and grab Anthony Davis, LeBron told the media his teammates needed to turn off social media, as it can be a big distraction to how they play on the court. Yet on the hypocrisy meter, this figuratively almost breaks the machine, as King James not only was clearly orchestrating with magic the trading away of all of his teammates, but he was literally on social media himself 3 days earlier when he posted this on Twitter after Davis announced he wanted out of New Orleans. Like, are you kidding me, LeBron? Calling out your teammates about getting into the drama, but then trying to manufacture some yourself? Just unbelievably hypocritical. Ironically enough, after it turned out his teammates were staying, instead of igniting them with encouragement behind closed doors after a brutal loss in New Orleans, he goes on about how some players in the locker room might not feel that sense of urgency that is needed for the moment. Look, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong for a superstar player to call out his teammates every once in a while when it's warranted. But when you lack any empathy when making those comments, your leadership goes down quite a bit, not just to the players around you, but to everyone else watching as well. Number 3, he's making it clear his personal accomplishments matter more to him than winning. If you take a look at any average player in the NBA, it is more likely than not they are incredibly egotistical and very me-focused most of the time. And to be fair to them, it makes a lot of sense considering the way the media and general society treats these athletes starting from when they are in high school. Everyone wants to be their friend, and getting girls is no problem at all. Well, I mean, at least it shouldn't be. Anyways, when you bump this up from just an average player in the league to one of the greatest players of all time, it shouldn't be a surprise they care about their own individual achievements just a tad bit more. The key here is to at least pretend to show some humility and do your best to maintain a frame of view focusing on your team first and foremost. Although I feel LeBron has done this in the past for most of his career, this year it almost seems like he decided he would stop caring about this aspect of his leadership. First, let's start with his outside businesses going on in the background. When James made the decision to move to LA, it was obvious there was a bigger reason he was going there than just playing basketball. Simply put, a lot of his future moves outside of his playing career will most likely be in Hollywood, so it makes sense why the Lakers garnered his interest. However, when your team is clearly struggling and you continue to make posts about a new episode of The Shop or immediately tweet about your input on the 2 Chainz album after a loss, it's fair to question what's important to you. But even worse in my opinion than these extracurricular activities outside of basketball is the self-praise comments LeBron can't help but force feed to the media. From just randomly calling himself the greatest player of all time,
that one right there made me the greatest player of all time,
to actually saying passing Michael Jordan in scoring is up there with winning a title. James is alienating his fan base by revealing both his own insecurity and the desperate need to pamper his overinflated ego to change the narrative of this Laker disaster. Unfortunately for the King, pretty much the entire world sees through this farce, and his legacy is only worsened as a result. Number 2. The on-court body language of a loser. Okay, it is finally time to address it. As a longtime LeBron fan who admittedly has looked over this aspect of his game because of his on-court success, I can no longer deny what my eyes are showing me. Out of all the greatest athletes to play in any sport, LeBron might be ranked number 1 on having the worst mannerisms and expressions when he's playing. Although it's hard to top his cringeworthy reaction following J.R. Smith's blunder in Game 1 in the 2018 NBA Finals, he has somehow notched it up a bit this year on the Lakers. With his head always down, complaining with refs at every dead ball, and barking at teammates for mistakes that he's making, LeBron is giving other NBA stars a perfect reason not to try and play with him, as they'll most likely end up being the scapegoat when the team is losing. Let's be honest, a huge component of what makes competitors the greatest in their class is the body language and physical charisma they carry with them at all times. Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Muhammad Ali, all of these guys carry a similar form of competitive energy whenever they step into their respective fields. For these legends, there is no need to let the media know you are in playoff mode, as the play will speak for itself. But even then, when LeBron did lamely declare exactly this, that he was going into playoff mode early, the Lakers have gone an embarrassing 3 wins and 10 losses, with a few legacy damaging losses to the currently tanking Phoenix Suns and Memphis Grizzlies. In particular against the Grizzlies, LeBron arguably had one of his worst defensive games of his career, basically not trying for multiple possessions while having straight garbage body language. To me, that's just unacceptable, and it doesn't make sense why he can't just put a little effort into fixing his bad demeanor. Until he does so and realizes how toxic he is looking, his title as the current best player in the world, let alone one of the 2 or 3 best players of all time, is clearly no longer a foregone conclusion. Number 1, the Lakers' plan from here is unclear and he's trapped. Ah yes, the Lakers' plan. Remember when LeBron said his decision to join LA wasn't about the short term but the long term play? That he wasn't worried about finding an NBA superstar right away because they'd be sure to find someone eventually? Well, someone should let him know the future isn't looking so bright anymore. With new reports saying there is no way the Pelicans will ever trade Anthony Davis to the Lakers, and Brandon Ingram looking like he'll be monitoring a blood clot situation for the rest of his career, LA has very little trade value to give to really revamp this team into something LeBron can work with. In fact, it is looking so bad that there are articles from reputable websites saying the owner Jeannie Buss contemplated trading LeBron himself. Just how did LA's outlook get so bad? Well, in short, never underestimate the incompetence of GM LeBron. All jokes aside, due to his status as the best player in the world for the last decade, LeBron has had an insane amount of influence in deciding which players will join his team and which players will or will not be traded. As soon as he signed with the Lakers last summer, it was so obvious his fingerprints were all over some of the offseason acquisitions. Short-term thinking type of guys like Rajon Rondo, Michael Beasley, JaVale McGee, not terrible players sure, but they made little to no sense in context of what the roster currently was sitting at. And when you remember DeMarcus Cousins was originally down to go to LA first, with reports saying he was willing to sign for 1 year, $5 million, how does LeBron not get on the phone with Magic or Rob Pelinka at the time and say, I don't care what you think about Cousins' Achilles, you absolutely need to sign him at that price because someone else probably will. Yeah, that's awkward. As you can see, with 2 more full years left on his contract without the ability to opt out, LeBron is trapped and is stuck hoping for a miracle deal this offseason. Otherwise, it is fair to wonder if the King will even sniff the NBA Finals again for the rest of his career. And whether you love him or hate him, that is just a weird and somewhat inconceivable thought to accept. Anyways guys, that's the video, hope you enjoyed. Definitely a darker video on a guy we have all followed for years, and how the gaps are starting to widen on his NBA legacy. To me, with all that I mentioned, For now, there is just no way you can put him over MJ in the GOAT conversation. But I want to hear what you guys think. What do you guys make of how poorly the season has gone for LeBron? Comment your thoughts below. With that said, hope you guys have a great rest of the day, or night, or whatever time it is. I'll be back at it soon. Peace out.